Now, what about the 60s? Did you visit when they had like the rock bands and stuff like that?
I want to go up on occasion. I saw you did a show thing that talked about, they went heavily with the bands of that kind, which was more, and DJs, particularly Dave Maynard. Dave Maynard would do a lot of shows, and he'd have guests on times too. Dave.
You said you're related to Dave in some fashion. What was that?
He and I are fraternity brothers.
Oh, really? Wow.
He went at Emerson College.
Yeah.
He was
son of a gun.
One of when I was first going to college. There were great many veterans.
Right.
Had come out of World War II, later than World War II, and were in there. So he was one of those veterans. He was actually had graduated the year before, but was still working in Boston radio.
Yeah.
We went to all the fraternity functions and things. Over the years, we got to know each other very well.
He was a favorite in the Boston area, or at least, as a matter of fact, even more than Boston. There were a couple of names you could mention, and unfortunately, they just passed away recently in the last couple of years.
That's right. Well, but at the time, when I first got married, my wife was from Lexington. We lived in Lexington. Dave Maynard lived in Lexington, so we used to see each other.
Right. How was he? What was he like?
It was an interesting character. When you saw him on things like community auditions, which he bought later in life.
Right.
He started out at the little local radio stations, went one to the other, ended up at BZ and did very, very well at BZ. And he was as humorous off as he was on.
Oh, really?
Funny guy.
Oh, that's good.
He had a friend at school. The name was William Zathmary.
Okay.
And the two of them used to get in trouble in classes, because even professors were still able to tell me about them, confirm the stories they were giving me. William Zathmary would mimic a Mexican.
Okay.
He would tell his name was Jose.
Right.
Well, later on, Zathmary was a writer for Steve Allen, and Steve Allen wanted to make that character a part, and nobody could do it right. So he said, "Why don't you do it?" He said, "We'll change your name now. Your name will be Bill Dana."
Right
on. And Bill Dana became famous for my name, Jose.
That's right. Yeah, I remember the astronauts made a lot of fun of him because he did an astronaut bit.
Yeah,
exactly. Great. Yeah.
Those are the little things that happen while you're there. Yeah.
So let's go back to the Canobie Lake Park in relationship to Dave Maynard. He did shows there quite often.
Oh, more than one time a summer.
Yeah,
oh, yes, absolutely. He would do that. Sometimes it would be purely DJ.
Yeah.
Other times he'd have people there, and the traffic would be back to the depot, trying to get into the park.
Yeah, I would imagine so, yeah. Quite popular. And did he visit you at that time? Because you were up this way in Lawrence or whatever.
We would talk sometimes. Sometimes I would go see his community audition programs.
Oh, did you? Yeah.
And in fact,
there were a lot of people in this area that were on that.
Well, I had a son that was a hula hoop champion.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That was a big thing at the time. That was great.
And he did a show for community auditions. And then when Dave would be up doing store openings and things, he'd come up and say, "Is he available? He can come do the things." And
he'd
go up and do a little hula hooping and the openings for him. I have had a great friend of mine. Became a state trooper later, and was actually killed in action on the thing. The anniversary of his death is today.
Yeah, was that right? Wow.
But he was a football player for Central Catholic.
Yeah.
I remember a game in Newburyport in Central Catholic. The referee was a guy named Joe Duffy who ran the swimming pool.
Wow. Wow.
Thing. And my friend got banged up a little bit, 2 or 3 plays in a row. And he got up after the third one and went to the huddle, and Duffy came over and I said to him, "You okay?"
Yeah.
He said, "Yeah, why?" He said, "You're in the Newburyport huddle." So that gave the central coach an idea he should get him out of the game.
Oh, that's too bad. Any final thoughts about Canobie Lake Park?
It's been a good citizen for the town of Salem.
Yeah.
There were times when the traffic was really problems. Remember now, it was 1962 basically when 93 opened up.
Yeah, well, that's
So
true
we're
too.
talking everything
That must have
on
been a
28.
significant change. Yes,
Yeah.
right.
So when they had some of those shows, it created real traffic problems.
Yeah.
But they were quicker in that there weren't as many cars on the road.
Right. Not only that, but I
but-
mean, on the other hand,
Yeah.
it meant a lot of customers coming through the gates.
But
too.
it was also a great employment for
Yes, that's true
Salem
too.
people.
That's true too.
Then the numbers of businesses were summertime. Canobie Lake and Rockingham Park employed a lot of people.
Yeah.
A lot of the kids came from Lawrence only because Woodbury High was small. I remember going to a prom one year.
I forgot to mention that, but yeah, I'm glad you picked up on
What
it.
they used to do is they had a fire truck ride. They'd pick the girls up in the fire trucks in their gowns and ride them down to
Hey, that's
the gate.
neat.
The guys
You
didn't
can
have to
do that.
walk.
Oh, yeah, of course. Of
But
course.
one of those years, I forget which year it was, a lot of my friends in Salem today were in those classes.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
senior class was like 33 kids total.